welcome back to my channel. First of all, season's greetings to you and your family, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the Christmas holidays so far. It's literally next week as I'm filming this the week before it, but I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. So today's video is going to be about, as you can see from the title, my fertility journey. Also a bit of postpartum as well. Let's see if I touch on it. What I'm planning to do is to make two parts to this video, as I wanted to share first of all my fertility journey. So for me, it's been a long road. As you can see, I had my first child. Well, those of you who follow me on Instagram or we're friends or we've met somehow along my journey, whether it be a networking event or through a fashion show or just in general when I've been out or in the workplace, you know that in my 20s I didn't build a family. So I only had my first child recently and I'm now in my 30s. So my fertility journey is one that I would say it wasn't overly complicated, but at the same time it was a bit complex, as I suffered from what you call fibroids. So in my 20s, I would say around 25, 26, that's when I first found out that I actually had fibroids. And that was by me going to my doctor and trying to find out why my periods were so heavy and they were very painful. At the time I thought, oh, maybe it's just a normal thing, but then as time went on and I saw that it was quite bad, I was like, no, I'm gonna find out what's going on. And so they gave me medication first of all. One thing about NHS and your doctor, their GP, they will be trying every medication on you. So they're like, oh, let's try some medication. So I had some really strong painkillers, and also I had medication to reduce the bleeding. That worked for a while, but then I started to have some really bad side effects from the one that would help to reduce the bleeding. As in, now I was having really bad stomach aches, and then I found out that the combination of the medication that they gave to me, that shouldn't have happened. So I had to stop taking those eventually. As time went on, I saw that things weren't improving for me, and I just felt like it was affecting my overall well-being. So then I went for another checkup again, and I asked if I could get like a scan to see how big the fibroids were at the time. So first it started off as one. That's one thing about fibroids. You'll find out that there's one, and as time goes on, they will increase and they will grow in size. So I was like, you know what, I need to check and find out what's happening. So then they at first they tried to discourage me, but please be persistent. All my ladies out there, if you go to get a checkup and you know something is wrong, push your GP, please. Do not just sit there and be like, no, ask for them to check properly. And if you need to be referred, then ask for them to refer you, because it's your health. You're the one who needs the help. So then I persisted and asked for another scan to be done, which I was given a date and everything eventually. This time I found out that I had multiple fibroids, and the one that maybe was even there before had grown in size as well. I then went back and I was told that I had the option to be referred. So I just needed to make sure that I make it known that how serious this is and how it's affecting my overall well-being. And I wanted to find out my options in order to get them removed. Right. So I went ahead and set another appointment eventually over time to get referred. Once again, I felt like I was being discouraged. I was being told, look, they're not that bad, you can manage. All you need to do is make sure when it's your time of the month that you take a painkiller or you try another medication and see how you can manage. I felt like I was being discouraged rather than receiving the help that I know that the NHS can give to me. So I went and had a talk with someone close to me, and they were like, no, this is what they do. They try to discourage you because they just don't want to go ahead and take you through the process. Obviously I don't know the financial side to it, how it affects your GP or the practice itself where you're being referred from, but there was definitely something going on there. I just felt like I was being discouraged. But I persisted and I went ahead and I said, look, I know my body, I know how I feel, and I know what I'm struggling with. And I really want to go ahead and find out what can be done. Through my persistence, they were like, okay, we're going to go ahead and refer you, which they did. Ladies and gentlemen, behold, I got a very quick response. It was like within literally, I think, a space of a month or 2 months. So I wasn't waiting for long. But then there came the pandemic. So that same year when I got referred and everything, and I was happy. I was like, I'm gonna finally get something done. The pandemic came. I just remember thinking, okay, fair enough. That means everything was just unpredictable. Everyone just felt like, what's gonna happen next? Obviously, a lot of things changed. A lot of us started to work from home. I believe the world was just at a standstill. Like, no one knew what was gonna happen next. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I just hope this doesn't last too long, because I felt like my health was, I was really in need of this procedure to be done and to find out what's going to happen next. Anyway, the pandemic happened, and I really took the time during the pandemic to focus on myself, not only my mental health, but just my health in general as well. Obviously, a lot of us spend a lot of time now at home cooking and doing things that we weren't really doing as much of before, because the time really, you'd be out and about, but now you're forced to stay at home. So I really spent a lot of time focusing on myself. I also done a lot of self-development work as well. I remember at the time I was even getting some counseling. I was looking after my mental health a lot and focusing on self-development, and I stayed in touch with the person at the time, and she was so helpful. By the way, I'll drop her details in my description box if you're ever looking for someone to speak to get some counseling and to get some guidance, even some coaching. She's amazing. She's like a second mom to me. Even till now, I still keep in contact with her. But I spent a lot of time focusing on myself during the pandemic, and so I felt like I really grew. Apart from the times where you felt a bit isolated and lonely, I felt like my growth, I can definitely hands down say the pandemic contributed a lot to it, because it really made me look within myself and start to ask questions about how I wanted things to go moving forward. But fast forward, the pandemic kept going, and obviously I was in the UK, so we had, after several months, then we were allowed to go outside again, but this time with restrictions and the new rules, which I made the most out of it. I was like, okay, we're allowed to go out. My friends who we were in contact and stuff, like, we went ahead and met up, or we were very careful. We followed the rules basically, but you know how that goes. And eventually I also had the chance as well to travel back home for a bit, which I did. Everything just felt so strange. Yeah, it did feel strange at the time, I guess, because it was all new to us, and seeing how restricted things were, and he didn't have the freedom to do certain things anymore. It just all felt very surreal at the same time. But some of us, we just had to push through mentally to make things happen. So for me, even the trip back home, even that felt different, and I even went about it in a different way as well. Anyway, whilst I was there, the NHS decided to schedule my procedure. I missed the letter. I only found out when I came back. So then I had to contact them, and then I was given a new date. Got given the new date, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna get yeah, sorry. Yes, I was like, oh, now I'm gonna get my procedure done. So I was very excited. Lo and behold, within a few weeks again, cancelled. They were like, oh, we're gonna have to keep it on hold. We're going back in lockdown, and they will just send me another letter and give me a new date once they know what's happening. That was in like the December of that year. I had to wait another 4 months. It was like another 4 months until I got given a new date. And it was very what's the word, it was very quick, as in there was no like, oh, you have a month to prepare. It was like in a week's time basically. So they just sent a letter and I realized, okay, it's next week. I got a quick call from them as well, and they were like, we're gonna, a preparation call that they put me in with some other patients and some nurses, just to prep you so you know what's gonna happen. And yeah, I just literally had to prepare myself mentally for it. I also started to make sure that I was drinking a lot of water as well, and preparing my body for it as well ahead. Yeah, once the day for my procedure came around, I was all set, and yeah, I had a myomectomy done, which means that they it's kind of like a C-section without a baby, if I can put it in that term. So it's where they cut you just below your abdomen, and they remove the fibroids. So they had put me to sleep, so I don't remember anything much. All I remember is them speaking to me and asking me if I'm okay. Next thing I know, they were like, okay, we're gonna put you to sleep now, and that was it. I didn't remember anything after that. When I woke up, it was the nurse waking me up to check if I'm okay, and for them to administer some morphine and to bring me to my recovery room, etc. But it all went very well. I just remember, yeah, there was a lot of pain. I've never spent a night in a hospital, so that was the first time for me. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even born in a hospital. I was born at home. I was delivered at home by the midwife in our community. So yeah, I wasn't even born in a hospital, so it was the first time for me to even spend some time in there. But yeah, it went really well. I had 6 weeks to recover. My workplace was very good to me. It was so lovely, my manager. They gave me the full 6 weeks off. They also sent me a lovely gift basket as well. It was so nice of them. So I really took the time out to recover and rest properly, because I really needed to take it so serious, because I was like, look, I really want to have kids in the future, and I know that if I didn't do this procedure, then it would only reduce my chances even more. So, and even when they took the fibroids out, they discovered that there was a higher number than what I was initially told. So the first time I checked, there was 1. Then the second time around, there was 3. And when they went in to remove the fibroids, they discovered that there were actually 5. So yeah, anyway, they had removed them. So now I had a chance to basically, look after myself and just see the results from it. Within a few months, once again, I was back on my feet properly and everything, and I could literally feel the difference. I didn't feel as bloated like I did before. My periods weren't as heavy. My overall well-being, I felt great. I felt good. I felt refreshed. So I really felt like it's something that I needed to do. I would encourage anyone out there who have fibroids, please go and see what can be done about it. for those who are saying, no, but the NHS, you're gonna have to wait a very long time. Look, you never know, because they changed my date several times, and that was due to the pandemic, and also as well the number of patients waiting, and that changes as well. You can't predict that it's gonna be a few months. It could even change to weeks, because it depends on the number of people waiting. Some people might change their mind, or something might happen, so the list could reduce over time. So you might not have to wait too long. Yeah, so for me it went all well. You know, after I had it done and I had my follow-up call with the doctor, it was like, I give you, you know, within the next year or so, try and conceive. Me, I was like, try and conceive in the next year or so. I don't even have somebody. So I didn't say that to you, but in my head I said that. But I was like, you know what? I trust in God. I will meet somebody. I don't know how, but I will meet somebody. At the time, I was quite optimistic when it came to my love life anyway. I was dating around, or meeting people, if I can put it in that way. So I was just staying hopeful, and, you know, just using my faith, I guess, and saying, look, I'm sure I'll meet someone along the way. Let's see how this goes. But yeah, he said within the next year, try and conceive. In my head, I was like, if only you knew. But I stayed positive. Obviously the year went by, yeah, but as you can see now, I'm a mom, so yes, God did answer my prayers anyway. It may have taken a bit longer, but the prayers was answered, and I'm just glad that things turned out a certain way. Yeah, so that's to do with my fertility journey. So after that, like I said, I guess the next thing for me was to make sure that I find the right person, as they put it, and, you know, see if eventually we can start a family. Obviously, I along the way, I met my now husband, which even that in itself was even another story. This man walked past me and turned back again, and he was like, wait a minute, let me see if I can talk to this lady. So even that, because I remember when we first saw each other, he walked past me, and in my head I was like, okay, why is this man staring at me? But I never thought that he was gonna, like, you know, turn back and start a conversation, which he did. I exchanged numbers, as in he asked for my number, I gave it to him, and for the next few months I didn't hear anything. So and even when he did call me eventually, it was, yeah, but then I was like, I'm seeing someone else at this time, and it's not gonna work. He respected me and left it as that. But yeah, as you can see, I'm married now, so along the way something happened. There wasn't any unfaithfulness or anything, it's just that things didn't work out, and when it didn't work out, then my husband was still there. So yeah. So he was still around. He was like a friend to me and everything, and, you know, we continued talking, having a conversation, and eventually we decided to start a relationship, and, you know, to get to know each other and everything. And then, yeah, here I am. Today I'm a wife, and I'm also a mother. I'm very grateful to God for giving me the chance to, you know, to see my dreams fulfilled in that sense, as in I really wanted to be a mother one day. And I always thought about, you know, creating a legacy, and, you know, knowing that I will have a child, because I don't plan to have any more. I only wanted one, so I'm just glad that, you know, God blessed me in that sense. Even if I didn't have a child, because at some point during my journey I felt like, what if I don't have a child? I was even planning to adopt one day. I'd be like, you know what, God, even if I don't get blessed with a child naturally, maybe you can bless me with the opportunity to adopt in the future. So I was even willing to go that route as well eventually. But yeah, I'm here today, and I'm blessed to have my little boy. He's amazing. It's a blessing to see your child growing. I don't think anyone can truly explain what it's like to be to become a mother until you're in that position, because it's just such an amazing feeling to look at this small little human being that you've created and you're like, you're all mine, like you are inside of me. Yeah, so that's a bit about how me and my husband met and everything. And eventually, after I got married and everything, then I found out that I was pregnant, and we were, both of us were happy. We were both happy, and I was like, wow, like I'm gonna have a baby. It even felt strange because even after I had the ultrasound done and everything, it was just this surreal feeling like I'm really pregnant. I think it's only when I started to see the bump like appearing even more, that's when I was like, I'm really pregnant. And obviously all the feelings that come and everything, and the symptoms, for me things started to change very dramatically along the way. So the nausea, the tiredness, everything just started to come, and I was like, okay, so this is what it is. Obviously it's different for each person. I don't think anyone can truly prepare you for pregnancy 100%. Everyone's body is different, and you just don't know what mental state you're going to be in as well. So for me, it was all new, but the nausea, it just all felt a lot for me. And I just really had to take time to adapt to it. I was like, okay, just take it slow, and just try and find all the help that I could during my pregnancy. So prenatal care was available to me, and I really made the most out of it, as in I went to all my appointments and everything. I also had a few sessions as well, therapy sessions as well, just to speak about how I'm managing things. Yeah, but one thing that really hit me was the morning sickness and this nausea. It wasn't easy. But yeah, I was just grateful to know that I'm growing this little human being inside of me, and if one day I'm gonna see his face and everything. Yeah, it was even that. I think initially my thought was, I'm pregnant. Whether it's a boy or girl, I'm just grateful to God that I'm having a baby. And then, I was it 21 weeks or 22 weeks, then you get to find out the sex of the baby. I can't remember the exact number of weeks, but yeah, you get to find out. And once I found out that it was a boy, then I was like, oh my gosh, God really answered me. Because in my 20s I used to be like, I want boys, I want boys. And then as time went by, I guess I just lost hope a bit. I lost hope a bit, and I was like, okay, God, whatever you bless me with. But yeah, I was just grateful to know that I was gonna be having my little prince. And yeah, I just took my time. I was very blessed to have a support system and everything, and just to take it easy and make sure that I'm looking after myself during my pregnancy, really. So yeah, in part 2 I'm going to be sharing more about my pregnancy and certain signs that were there already in regards to postpartum, and how I felt like maybe if I had dealt with things a bit differently, and if people around me had known what certain signs were, maybe things would have been a bit different in terms of the postpartum depression that came on /psychosis. But I will be digging a bit deeper into those in part 2. But for now, for today, that's all so that's it for today. So guys, please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you.